Maybe you can now explain your business model to the community, how it's all going to work.
Well, it's we have tried to simplify it as much as possible, and then Bobby will share further details. From my standpoint, we did want to be as transparent and as fair as possible. So basically, our models in these three use cases would be based on a revenue share, which would go to the very least 90% for the commercial idea, up to 98% for charity NGOs or some of the artists and creators, right? Whilst in commercial ideas, the 10% which will left, they wouldn't go into our pockets, right? They would go into our treasury, which will start bootstrapping the next idea, and they will go, as Bobby did mention, in royalties. The artists and the technologists or the engineers who help this initiation or this NFT sale, right? So the model is simple as possible, as seen in the slides which you have just shared.
Yeah, it is.
What did I miss?
Yeah,
staging,
I mean,
perhaps.
Yeah, I mean the staging, and it is simple, but yeah, we want to make it simple, but in doing so, still it's going to be a bit complicated. But anyhow, Tony, if you want, you can continue with the stages, and maybe then I can explain how the circular business model would work out.
Yeah, more than happy to. So like I said, so the 90% to 10% share is also in the commercial business ideas. And whilst the 98 to 2% or the 95 to 5% models would be for artists and creators and charity and NGOs. The funds which would be raised would be delivered, or they would be shared with the people who fundraise in three different stages, or three main stages. And this would be all on case-by-case basis. This would be all discussed with the ideas or the ventures which would seek fundraising on Stitchia Network. We like to have a transparent and fair model. So we have three main stages where we would split the funding being raised. In phase one, there's going to be 25%. So this would be the initial funding, which will go immediately into the idea for them to start doing whatever they have been listed and shared as a brief. Whilst in stages 2 and 3, this would be based on milestones which the idea venture or the artists and creators would share. So for example, if you are a sculptor, if you are an artist who creates sculptures and you want to create, I don't know, a bronze sculpture, right? You need an initial funding to buy the bronze, right? And you need it right now. So these funds would go immediately to you to buy this, and you can like proof point to the community back that you have bought this. Whilst the stage 2 and 3 would basically be like, for example, when I build the mock-ups or the dummies, then I'm ready with like almost like the stage 3 where I will create the real bronze sculpture. And once you create this, you will get the money into the very last stage. So yeah, 3 simple steps. This would eventually safeguard the overall process of not sharing money immediately with someone who will disappear. So we
Tony,
are not.
Sorry for interrupting, but I think here is a very good space to say about these stages. Okay, the money, they will not be controlled by us. I mean, it's not like we have some agreement. If they do A, B, C, D, we'll give them X amount of money, and then the rest, and etc. Everything will be written in a smart contract, and when they achieve some milestone, the smart contract would send them the money directly. It won't be dependable on us to click the button and say, okay, I like these people, the money will go to them. Everything will be automated and it will be transparent, as Tony mentioned.
Yeah, of course, because we wouldn't be providing banking, right? So we are actively seeking for digital banking or digital payments provider to partner with, because if you don't have a crypto wallet, or if you're unfamiliar with it or uncomfortable with it, you would essentially want to have a solution where you can bank it, right? So we are currently seeking and in discussions with some solutions which could provide this very crucial funding option for you, for example, to have the money in fiat or to have the money in a card, right? But yeah, like Bobby did mention, these 3 stages, there would be hard coded in a smart contract, which would be on pre-agreed terms with the venture or idea that would seek funding.
Yeah, and if you would allow me, I would like to say a bit more in details about the circular business model.
And the royalties as well, and a bit on the DeFi.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things. As you said, they are simple, but when the project evolved, we added a bit more features, so the project becomes more and more interesting. About the circular business model, we would like the last funded project to buy the floor of the NFT sales up to 5%. Ideally, we would like to make it every project 5%, but you never know. I mean, one project could get $1 million, another could get 100,000. I mean, and that's why we decided to be up to 5%. And simply, as Tony said, on the first stage, there will be 25 immediate funding to the project creator, and the rest, instead of the funds just staying get dust, we would use them in very major DeFi projects such as Lido or Aave or something else. And on some of them, there are insurance included, which means if an event happens, for example, like the Luna crash, if something like this happened in the Aave or the Lido protocol, the funds will be refunded. So this is safe and still will track some profit. And we use also to build up our treasury, which would cover our Stitch token, which later we will show to you our tokenomics and everything that you need to know about it. But simply by gaining these APYs, they will be very small, like 3, 4, 5%. Also, we have an investment fund, but this also in development. We use these APYs to increase the value and the volume about the Stitch token, and with that increased value of the token, we could buy the floor prices of the next project, and this will help bootstrap the next idea and the attention that the project is not with the zero volume. They will have a few Ethereums, for example, already. And about the royalties, there will be from every next sale, they'll go 3% to the artist and to the creator of the collection, and 2% to the Stitchia treasury, which, as I mentioned, it will be as a backing solution as a volume also about the Stitch token and the sustainable APYs, as also our idea about Stitch token is to have a sustainable business model about the APYs to not be inflationary, as the market cap, it will be hard capped for only 100 million tokens. It will not be inflationary to infinity, and we use that model to pay the rewards. And about the Stitchia bytes, our target here is let's say beginners and intermediates users of the blockchain. So we would like to educate them as much as possible. And I think Anton, he's very passionate about the educational feature of Stitchia Network. And we already started doing our TikTok MVP. Is that right, Anton?
Yeah, we did. Well, I mean, education is a major part of using any technology, right? If you want to take any tech into mainstream, you need to educate the general public what this tech would kind of actually bring in, what are the values, what are the pros and cons, what you can and cannot do it with it, right? So we need to upskill them, and kind of this almost comes into my point with regards to our Genesis NFT members, right? I'd love to have lawyers, I'd love to have VCs, I'd love to have marketeers, I'd love to have engineers, I'd love to have artists, I'd love to have entrepreneurs, I'd love to have businesses, I'd love to have possibly 1,111 different users, because this would essentially make things greater for us, right? Because this would give us the diversity and the wider knowledge of different people and members who can bring in and really help this thing work. And in order to do so, you need to educate them, right? So people who are working in a specific area or field or in a specific industry, they might not have the X, Y, and Z hours of time to read about blockchain and to what it can do here and there, right? People are busier and busier, and they love to have this almost like represented in a quick and focused way, right? So that's why we have started with TikTok, because it's a great way for you to share bits and pieces of information and knowledge on what blockchain and crypto is. And we are planning to expand this further with newsletters, with even paid content in the future. But the idea here is that you need to upskill the general public if you want to make things happen.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and just one more thing that I would like to add. I know you mentioned about we would love to have many different characters in our network, but anyway, we cannot stop the DGens to buy the NFT tickets. We will not say no. You're not in our focus group. We would like to have everyone. I mean, I think that there will be some natural changes in the future, where people that they're not focused in the Stitchia network, they would sell their ticket to someone who is more capable and who is more advanced, or who would like to be in our DAO. And additionally, we'll have the Stitch token, which also will be with some governance utility, and of course some DeFi also. But also we're considering as the last project that did the airdrop, the optimism, the layer 2 solution of Ethereum. In their governance model, they're open to no coiners. I mean, to no, for example, without the
Holders.
the holders, the ticket holders, without the token holders. This for the broad community, at least to say, okay, we like this, we don't like this. Some simple showing of participation. Like, we're open to everybody, but still we have our tickets and tokens, which they have, of course, some different features and capabilities.
So perhaps, Stanislav, if you can go back into our revenue model just to wrap this up, because Bobby did mention this on the back of our explanation with regards to the business model, but it's, I think, worthwhile just highlighting the basic things. It was just like the previous one. where so basically we did mention the fees. So yeah, the business model we have covered. Maybe it's my brilliant broadband.
Yeah, but anyhow,
There you go. So we did mention the fees. We did mention the fee structure, which we believe is as fair as possible. We did mention the royalties, which are fixed and they will go forever for the people who has created this collection. We did mention the DeFi. We did briefly said about the investment fund is simply because we'd like to build a treasury, which will not only hold our very own future token, but essentially would like to be a diversified portfolio where we could hold different promising tokens, or basically different digital assets, which could kind of diversify or hedge our treasury, because essentially the more funds we have in our treasury, the more value we have in our network, right? So this is kind of a no-brainer. And with regards to the Stitch token, this is going to be kind of our internal fuel, kind of the token which will power the network itself. So as Bobby did mention, so on top of the members, the Genesis NFT ticket members, we will have also Stitch token holders who could potentially stake a certain amount of them in order to participate in voting and in the process. And also, as he did mention, we would also have a wider kind of no holders, no members kind of voting to the wider blockchain and non-blockchain community for general questioners.